I just got dumped by my boyfriend. He's now dating his best friend of 10 years. Sorry if this is long, but I want to explain everything accurately. I recently went through a breakup, and my ex is now dating his best friend. I always had reservations about their friendship. She was overly flirty with him and constantly made passive-aggressive comments that seemed designed to stake her claim. I mentioned it once, but he insisted that was just how she acted with everyone. I let it go for about a year because I didn't want to come across as insecure. I also know that men don't always pick up on the subtle ways women can be passive-aggressive toward each other. I figured it was best to take the high road and ignore it. More importantly, he never gave me a reason to believe he viewed her romantically, so I tried not to make it into an issue. Everything changed when she threw him a surprise birthday party a week before his actual birthday. I wasn't invited and wasn't even told about it. My ex was apparently confused about why I wasn't there, and she told him that I didn't like his friends and had refused to come. While at the party, he called me and drunkenly expressed how disappointed he was in my behavior. While we were on the phone, I could hear his best friend in the background laughing and telling him not to give me any more attention. She was also saying that I was a terrible girlfriend. Hearing that was shocking, especially since I had never had any conflict with her and had made a conscious effort to avoid creating drama over their friendship. The next day, I tried calling him but went straight to voicemail. My texts weren't delivering either, so I assumed I had been blocked. Fortunately, I'm close friends with his sister, who, interestingly enough, also wasn't invited to the surprise party because the best friend apparently doesn't like her either. His sister ended up explaining everything from my perspective. The best friend insisted she had invited both of us through paperless post and claimed that any missing invitation must have been some kind of accident or technical issue. Whether that was true or not, the entire situation felt suspicious to me. After that, my ex started acting distant. I asked him directly if anything was going on between him and his best friend. He told me no, said he loved me, and claimed he believed the party situation had simply been a misunderstanding. I stayed calm and explained that I didn't like his friends thinking I disliked them. I even suggested reaching out to his best friend myself so we could grab coffee and clear the air. He thought that was a great idea, but she never responded to me. I was careful not to say anything negative about her and eventually told him that I agreed it was probably just an accident, even though I didn't actually believe that. 2 weeks later, after continuing to act distant, he sat me down and ended our relationship after 2 years together. I stayed calm and asked what had changed. I also asked directly whether his best friend had anything to do with the breakup. That's when he admitted that she did. He told me nothing physical had happened while we were together, but that he had developed feelings for her. According to him, it just happened. The part I struggle with is that they had been friends for over 10 years. If they were such a great match, why hadn't they dated before? He insisted he had never viewed her romantically until just a few weeks earlier. After the breakup, she made it very public that she had won and that I was a loser. She posted about how grateful she was that their friend group no longer had to deal with my supposedly toxic behavior. Honestly, I didn't care much about the insults because her behavior reflected far more on her than it did on me. A few weeks later, I ran into a couple from his friend group at a bar. They told me that they, along with several other friends, were genuinely sad that we had broken up. They said they always thought I was fun, sweet, and enjoyable to be around. It didn't feel like polite small talk, it felt sincere. That's part of why I have trouble understanding everything. I don't understand how someone's feelings can change so quickly after 10 years of friendship. Within 1 week of our breakup, he was officially dating his best friend, and they were suddenly completely in love. I'm hurt, but mostly I'm trying to understand the situation from another perspective. My ex won't really explain how he suddenly fell in love with her. In my mind, romantic feelings usually develop through ongoing emotional and romantic investment. That's why part of me wonders if there was already an emotional connection forming before the relationship ended. At the same time, he was genuinely kind and respectful throughout our relationship and even during the breakup itself. That's what makes this harder to process. Nothing about his behavior before this suggested he was secretly waiting for an opportunity to leave me for someone else. I have male friends whom I would never think of romantically. I don't interact with them in a way that would allow those feelings to develop. That's why this situation feels confusing to me. I do believe his feelings genuinely changed, and I think he spent a few weeks wrestling with what to do before ultimately ending the relationship. I don't really want comments telling me he's a terrible person or that I'm better off without him. The relationship is over, and I'm already moving forward. What I'm really trying to understand is how situations like this happen. Have other people experienced something similar? How does a decade-long friendship suddenly become a romantic relationship? TLDR. My boyfriend ended our 2-year relationship shortly after a surprise birthday party that I wasn't invited to, and then started dating his longtime best friend almost immediately afterward. Update 2 days later. So I received a text from a random number. Since I had already blocked my ex's regular number, I was surprised to see it was him reaching out. The message was basically an apology mixed with a request. He told me he missed me, that things had ended with his best friend, and that he wanted to meet for coffee to talk things through and hopefully reconcile. His message said something along the lines of, "I didn't realize how much I'd miss you. I've realized that you're the one for me. I'm so sorry about everything that's happened over the last month. You deserve better, but I'm hoping we can meet up, discuss everything, and move past it." My immediate reaction was disbelief. 3 weeks. That's all it took. After ending a 2-year relationship because he suddenly realized he had feelings for his best friend, he now wanted to come back because things apparently didn't work out the way he expected. I always had concerns about her and suspected the relationship wouldn't last, but even I didn't expect it to implode after only a few weeks. Honestly, I was furious. From my perspective, he was essentially asking me to take him back after he left our relationship, pursued another woman, and then decided he had made a mistake. Now that he had clarity and realized she wasn't what he wanted, he expected there to be a path back to me. The frustrating thing is that I still don't think he's a bad person. I know that sounds contradictory given everything that's happened, but I genuinely believe he's a decent guy who made a terrible decision. I don't think he set out to hurt me, manipulate me, or intentionally destroy our relationship. I think he developed feelings for someone else, convinced himself he needed to explore them, and then discovered reality didn't match the fantasy. That doesn't excuse what happened. He's a grown man. He's responsible for his choices. At some point, being a generally good person doesn't matter if you're making decisions that deeply hurt the people who love you. He had every opportunity to think through the consequences before ending our relationship and pursuing another one. I know some people will label him a cheater or say he was playing both sides. Personally, I don't see it that way. From what I know, he didn't physically cheat on me. He developed feelings, wrestled with them, made a choice, ended our relationship, and pursued the other woman. The problem isn't that he cheated. The problem is that he gambled our relationship on the belief that something else would make him happier. And now that gamble failed. The biggest issue for me isn't anger anymore, it's trust. Even if I believed every word of his apology, I don't see how I could ever trust him again. He already showed me that when he develops feelings for someone else, he's willing to walk away from a committed relationship to explore them. How would I ever feel secure knowing that could happen again? That's why reconciliation isn't really an option. It's not about revenge, pride, or wanting him to suffer. It's simply that once trust is broken to that extent, I don't know how it comes back. He made a choice, and choices have consequences. The fact that it didn't work out the way he hoped doesn't erase what happened. For anyone considering doing something similar, don't. If you're in a good relationship and you're tempted by the excitement of someone new, understand that you're risking something real for something that may only exist in your imagination. Sometimes what feels like certainty in the moment turns out to be infatuation, curiosity, or fantasy once it's actually tested in reality. As for what happened next, no, we did not meet for coffee. I told him exactly where he could go, blocked the new number, and moved on with my life. One final clarification. Some people noticed inconsistencies in the ages mentioned in previous posts. I intentionally adjusted some details to protect anonymity. The actual ages are slightly different than what I originally posted. He is 31, his best friend is 30, and I am 28. The overall story remains exactly the same, only those identifying details were changed. What do you guys think? Let's discuss in the comments. Follow and like for more stories.